Brian Windhorst reports that there are a number of teams that have their trade offers ready for Donovan Mitchell, including, of course, the Lakers. So, Keyshawn, start us off here. You said numerous times you'd like to see Donovan Mitchell in a Laker uniform. How realistic do you believe trading for him is?
I think it's realistic. But, Skip, when you look at when free agency comes up in trade conversations and things of that nature, there's going to be other guys that are going to become available. Now, when you talk about, well, wouldn't you rather have Donovan Mitchell? Okay, yeah, I would like Donovan Mitchell. There's no question about it. And I'm sure LeBron and AD and everybody else. But let's assume that they can't get him. There's a guy that plays alongside of him in Darius Garland, who's represented by Clutch as well. Yep. Okay, and so that may seem a little more realistic. Then there's a guy named DeMar DeRozan that's from L.A. that plays in Chicago that's going to be a free agent, whose agent is here out on the West Coast, who lives very close to Staples Center. So you start to look at things, who is it going to be in the end? I don't think the roster is going to be the same. I think they're going to add a third or a 3.5 type big three, so to speak. And what I mean by that, I don't know all the numbers, and Rachel could certainly speak to the cap and how to move numbers around and all that. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Lakers did something that nobody would think. They pass on a Donovan Mitchell, they go get their guy Darius Garland, and they look to also do something with LeBron's contract on a shorter situation where it doesn't eat up a whole lot of money, and then you go get another guy who's an all-star type dude. That's what I'm looking for him to do, because in order to hire an inexperienced coach, you're going to have a team like that to be able to do such a thing.
Okay.
Well, look, I would never pass up, as you say, Donovan Mitchell for Darius Garland, but I'm not sure that the Lakers really have the option for Donovan Mitchell. First of all, I don't think Donovan Mitchell is asking for a trade. That would be so different from his persona. He's not going to walk in there and demand a trade. However, what he can do is not sign his extension. And then the Cavaliers are faced with the issue of they will have one more season guaranteed of him. They gave up a lot to get him. And do they want to, quote, lose him for nothing the following summer? They could still keep him through the summer, by the way, and wait until the trade deadline and see what they can get then. But if they decide that if he doesn't sign the extension and if they decide to move him, there are teams that can come up with better offers than the LA Lakers can. So I just think that he'll have a little bit of a choice in where he goes, because he is on an expiring contract and he's going to want to go to a team that he'll want to re-sign for. But we have seen in the league in recent years a lot less of that. We saw Damian Lillard not get his first choice of where he wanted to go. And by the way, we've seen more teams on the team side take the risk of giving up a lot for guys with expiring contracts. It started with Kawhi Leonard and how much that paid off for Toronto. And then even with Pascal Siakam going to Indiana, they gave up a ton for him. He becomes a free agent this summer. Teams are taking that risk, and I can see someone taking that risk on Donovan Mitchell, who will offer more than the Lakers do.
And as you have pointed out, what are the odds that that owner in Cleveland would send Donovan Mitchell to LeBron James?
I don't see it.
No?
But if you're getting something back in return, that makes sense.
But you're not getting the best offer.
And you're not sending him to LeBron, you're sending him to the Lakers.
You're
Genie.
Stop.
This has nothing to do with LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, it got a lot to do with LeBron.
Of course it does.
Yeah,
Richard, whose side are you on?
Richard, will you set him
Damn
straight?
it, whose side are you
I'm on
on?
the Lakers side.
Yeah.
I'm on the Lakers side. But I don't know, even if perfect world they find a way to get Donovan Mitchell, I don't think that gets him over the top. And so that's the problem. Like, I don't think superstar power. I think the era of the big three and all that is past. I mean, we're watching teams with superstars. We watched Phoenix, teams with 3 proven stars in the league. It just doesn't work out. You saw the Clippers. You guys were really high on the Clippers and how this is going to work out. And for a stretch during the season, it did work out, and then it didn't. And you could shake your head all you want, but I'm just saying we need depth. We need proven NBA players. We just need guys that can hit an open three. Like, that seemed to be our issue against Denver. Guys wide open, NBA players that used to be a guarantee, missing wide open shots. Double-digit leads, decimating in the fourth quarter. Like, it's hard to explain and say, man, Donovan Mitchell is going to get over the top, when it was just like, hey, can we just get routine NBA plays made? Can you just make an open three? Can you just make a corner three wide open? No, you can't? Oh, my God. Donovan Mitchell, come save us. That's not Donovan Mitchell a Donovan Mitchell problem, that's a consistency. That's an NBA problem. Maybe that's a playing with LeBron problem. But I don't know. I don't know. I love the Lakers having superstars.
Turn his
I love
mic
Donovan
off,
Mitchell.
man.
But, man,
what do you mean Donovan Mitchell can't get us over the top?
Well, it's what you lose. I'm not saying Donovan Mitchell ain't great, but I'm just saying what else do we have at that point? Sometimes Donovan Mitchell's going to have to sit down. Sometimes LeBron sits down. What else do you have on this team that can help you in the playoffs?
We can fill up the back end of the roster, but if you can add a Donovan Mitchell, that's why teams are lining up.
But Keyshawn, hypothetically.
And we're not just talking about this year, Skip. We got to remember LeBron is 39, going to be 40. We got to think about 2 and 3 and 4 years from now.
What's your trade package? Just throw some names out.
No, man, take the first round picks. Okay. Take all of them.
You have to
we don't even got none to trade.
Take them and take
D'Lo and Austin Reeves.
Bye.
Yeah.
I call the car service, and they will take them to the airport.
Yeah.
Okay, but even that is not as good an offer as you could get. Look, you have loved the Spurs franchise, right?
Yes,
for years and years.
I know you want him to go play with Wemby. I get it.
I 100%. If I'm Donovan Mitchell, I want to go play with Wemby, first of all, because I think that is setting up for years to come. And if you can be the guy who can help unlock Victor Wembanyama, that is an incredible contribution and part of something that you can be a part of something really special. The Spurs also have, these are the assets the Spurs have. They've got 2 picks in the top 10 this year alone. They got a boatload of draft picks after that, right? The Lakers, they don't even pick till 17 in this draft, and they might lose that pick because New Orleans can still take it away. They have until June 1st to decide as part of the Anthony Davis trade. So if you look at the players that the Lakers have to offer, guys that Richard Sherman just outlined, can't hit an open shot sometimes when you expect them to. And then you look at the draft pick situation. Miami has 3 first-round picks, by the way, and they could send Tyler Hero and Jaime Jaquez Jr. So, like, there's other teams in this discussion.
Yeah, and Keyshawn, back to fit here.
What?
I love Donovan Mitchell, but seriously, you want to talk about ball dominant? He might be at the top of the ball dominant list. When he gets going, he just says, "Give me the ball and get out of the way." And trust me, Darius Garland did not love that through this playoff run, the little run that they had. He was having a hard time with it because you become an afterthought. Darius Garland would be a better fit for LeBron, just in part because he's a clutch guy. But again, I think he would defer a little easier to LeBron. But how did Donovan and LeBron fit? I just don't know. Like Kyrie fit with LeBron because Kyrie had some defer in him, and we're seeing some of it now with Luka, where he's saying, okay, on a given night, you do your thing, and then occasionally, if you need me, I'll do mine. But listen, Donovan is, I'll do mine every night, because that's who I am.
But they basically, when you look at Darius and Donovan, that's kind of repeating each other. Yeah. That's not repeating. Donovan Mitchell and LeBron and AD are not repeating each other. You talk about the Phoenix Suns, there's Kevin Durant, then there's Booker, then there's Bill. Bill is less than Booker. Booker's a little less than Kevin Durant. They all do the same things for the most part. Yeah. They all do the same things or have done the same things in their career. Donovan Mitchell, LeBron, and AD are totally different players. Just totally.
I'm with you on this. I don't have any doubt that Donovan Mitchell could fit in with this Lakers team.
1,000%.
And I think, Skip, you have to remember, he hasn't played with a offensive star.
Well,
we haven't seen it.
He never has.
Right. So to say whether he would or wouldn't defer, we can't really even say that yet. I think Donovan Mitchell is a team guy.
Jordan
He's a
Clarkson
high-character guy. Right. So we haven't seen it, so you can't say he can't do it. I think he would do it. I just don't think it's likely that he ends up there.
No, I understand. No, I get it. It's a hope and a prayer.
Yeah.
I agree that we don't have enough, but I also, would it make a difference? Is the Big Three era, like, what teams in these in the playoffs right now are Big Three? What teams? Or is it just team basketball teams?
No,
like,
you're right.
You got the two, Luka and Kyrie, you got Tatum and Jay. Like,
but what do you define? What do you define as a Big Three? I understand, Rachel, 7 years ago or whatever, LeBron, and it was all these all-stars, Big Three, and that's how the name came. When you look at the guys that are playing right now, when I look at the Denver Nuggets, Jamal Murray if you really just want to say he's an all-star, he is an all-star player, even though he has never made an all-star game. And then you got the Joker. And then all of a sudden, Porter Jr. is playing ridiculous basketball. You don't have to be a quote-unquote big three type guy.
That's Richard's point.
But you don't have to have the label big three. You just got to have three individuals that can ball out. If you strip the big three name off the back, big deal. Go ahead, Rachel.
Well, I was going to say, Richard, you're right that because of the way salary rules have changed and cap rules and second apron and 12th apron and all of that other stuff, it's a lot harder to have a big three, and you end up with what you have in Phoenix, which had a big three and then couldn't fill out the rest of the bench. So you're completely right that you need to have those other players, those role players. It's what we do see in Denver. It is what we do see with teams that we think are championship contenders. I just think that the Lakers, as they are right now, don't seem to be in competition to win the West, and they do have to do something.
Quick point of order, the Clippers actually went into this year with a big four, if you want to make that case, with Russ. And in the end, they didn't have the big one because they did not have the best player, Kawhi, and so we didn't get to see how the experiment would work. But there's a lot of star power and a lot of depth on that roster.
Man, when you look at Boston, for instance, coming out of the East, they got four dudes that all done touched the All-Star. And I may be missing somebody on the bench. But you will never say, well, Drew Holiday, but Drew Holiday can play the game, man.
He's a star.
He's a star.
He's a star.
And Porzingis, for all the unicorn and people felt about him in New York and felt about him in Dallas, dude can play basketball. And then you got the other two, Brown and Tatum.
And listen, Derek White, I consider him a star.
Derek White.
I think he's really
So you
good.
can have those players with those big salaries and potentially win a championship. You just got to figure out how to manipulate that salary. And then when you talk about the bench, you don't have to have top-notch names on your bench. You just got to have guys that fit the role, that can play. Think about when LeBron was in Cleveland. It wasn't like they had just a killer bench. They had guys that fit the role and knocked down shots when they came in for their little 6-7 minutes, and they kept it moving.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to have superstars, but I disagree with you on the Boston point, but we ain't got enough time. I think team basketball is what we're seeing right now with Minnesota, with Denver, with most of the teams that you're Indiana. I mean, you're seeing team basketball is what the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks is team basketball. You're not seeing superstar players. These are the teams that are headed to the conference finals because of team basketball, not because of superstar players, because they're filled out with good team basketball players. And that's what I'm saying. We need more of that and less of chasing superstars at this point.
Well, I guess we'll be the 12th seed.
So,
we
Rachel,
12th seed now.
Yeah. Rachel, sum it up. What's your gut feeling about who the Lakers acquire or add?
I think they will go after whichever of the Atlanta players is on the block, whichever guard is on the block there. I do think that if Donovan Mitchell stays in Cleveland, that Darius Garland will not be there because that is not a fit.
Yeah, they're not going to let him stay there. Rich Paul going to get him up out of there.
Yeah, so yes, he could end up on the Lakers. And by the way, he would be more of what Richard's talking about, which is a super role player or something, however you want to call the Aaron Gordons and the Michael Porter Jr.'s of the world.
It's true.
Where they're not the head guys on the marquee, but they are definitely important parts that you need to win a championship. So we'll see what they can do. I think they'll do something. The Lakers have 3 first-round picks. They've got guys they can trade, and they've got what they are looking down the barrel of the last couple years of LeBron James. They're going to want to make this count.
Okay, speaking of that guy.
Richard might be a Laker hater quietly.
No, he's a Laker fan. He's being objective as opposed to you. All right, speaking of that guy, LeBron, he showed up yesterday to watch his son at the Combine. We debate that next. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.